So I want to make this short and painless. All right, we have the Allen & Heath SQ6 to my right. More on this later. But behind me, we have the Dutch & Dutch 8Cs, which, if you don't know by now, they're Dutch & Dutch 8Cs. As I was mixing, I noticed that a lot of my elements that weren't the drums and the bass actually got mixed a little bit thinner than what a lot of records are mixed at. And I said, what's going on here? What came to find out is that on about half of my mixes, I was not hearing the low mid as accurate as I thought I should be. I'm not sure if that was a combination of how Sonarworks was tweaking the low end, or maybe my room wasn't throwing it out as much, or maybe the opals are kind of scooped in that area. But what I do know is that with the Dutch & Dutches, I can hear the weight of the low mids. So like when I'm mixing on these Dutch & Dutches, I can just mix until it sounds good. I don't have to wait and try to do checks on my opals and then on my super cubes, back to my opals, kind of thing I was doing. Once I get it sounding how I want to on those Dutch & Dutches, that's it. That's it. And it doesn't take long. It's literally, okay, this is dark, brighten up here, back sandal, maybe add some air. How does it sound? Okay, just a little bit more. Boom, we're done. There is no going back and forth. There is no meandering. There's no compromise, no mitigating on whether or not I should boost to here, how's it gonna translate? I don't think about translating when I'm mixing on the Dutch & Dutch 8Cs. It's not a thing. You just make it sound good on these speakers, because I wouldn't even consider them the studio speakers. They're just a really good set of speakers. And I guess that's what it means to have a mastering pair of speakers. Now, whatever just comes out of them, it just sounds how it's supposed to. And it doesn't take a pro level engineer to make the use out of them. You just make it sound good on those speakers, and then boom, you're done. You can just reference a professional mix and say, okay, clearly there needs to be some more kicks in here. Let's add a little bit more high mid on the kick. Boom, you do that, you're done. We moved the desk, we moved the speakers, we angled them, pushed them out, brought them in. We measured it, moved things. And we got these results. And I'm gonna show you what my graph looks like with the Dutch & Dutches and what it will look like without the EQ correction from the Dutch & Dutches. In my room, I have this big old 70 to 75 hertz dip. Depends on where in the room that we're looking at, right? And the left speaker is catching something. I think it's that vent. However, after the correction of the Dutch & Dutch 8C, since they have built-in DSP correction, we get this whole thing plateaued. I still get this dip, but at the very least, between like 35 to 70, we're pretty spot on. A little dip right there, pretty much spot on, little dip. And then it kind of warbles a little. This right here, I'm working on. So don't judge me too hard right there. But this gives you a sense and an idea of what I'm working with. All right, just to give a little presentation, this is the mix that I'm working with. If you notice, Sound ID is deactivated. I'm not using Sound ID in my room, which means whatever the coloration is happening inside of my room, that's what I'm hearing. I'm going straight room and I'm applying these on projects immediately. If I listen to this,
till she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half ounce, we prefer a zip. Yeah, pops, I'm the plug, guarantee we smoke good, eat good. So much paper that we don't need woods, like what's rain to a forest. My flame leave them scorching, just call me Smokey the Bear, but can't say this.
I'm actually going back through in this mastering phase. I'm going back in the mix and I'm literally turning off loads of plugins and seeing if it's actually making a difference in these speakers. And if they are, I keep them. If not, I'm taking them off. And currently on every mix, I'm at least taking off 50% of the work that I've done. It's phenomenal.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half.
So like this is actually making it worse.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half ounce, we prefer a.
This is doing its job. That was a 2.5K boost. And what I typically like to do, if I see something like that, this is a decision I made long ago. I'm going to apply it in my silver bullet. And of course, I can't do the processing right now, but I'm going to go ahead and set it up in my silver bullet so I can process it after this video is done recording. All right, let's keep going.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half ounce, we prefer a zip. Yeah, pop some.
I like this, but it's too much. And it needs a small little pre to go in.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip.
This is unnecessary.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a.
Now this is interesting. I used to use this for the soft clipping feature. And what I like now is, as I understand the SSL X limit, is that the threshold is more so like the compressor. And then it hits a brick wall limiter, which is a ceiling. This is kind of similar to the Waste MM1 mastering maximizer. You have the compression setup first. Transparent, loud, punch, wide, DS. If you look in the SSL, transparent, glue, punch, auto. So they're really similar in the way that they're reacting. So your threshold here pretty much is the amount inside of the Waste. And I started liking to use the SSL since I love the whole bundle. This pretty much shapes, the SSL pretty much shapes my whole mix. I can turn off the true peak and run what I'm hearing. And this track, his voice,
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a.
I think I was trying to round it out just a little bit. So something like this, I'm usually going to put on auto.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half ounce, we prefer a zip. Yeah, pops, I'm the plug, guarantee we smoke good, eat good. So much paper that we don't need wood.
And anything that's kind of spiky, I'll drop the brick wall on here. I am not scared to brick wall vocals or anything that have spikes. That dB or 2 dBs, you're not going to hear. Save yourself the headroom, please. There is no compressor that's going to be out a brick wall limiter. The threshold is going to compress enough, and if you still got some spikes, you just consider them rogue samples. Just rogue samples of flying out everywhere. There is not a sense of authenticity that you are going to save yourself by leaving 1 dB of flying away samples. This is on the beat.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half.
So this is actually really important because anytime you are processing a beat that's pretty much been limited all the way through, any changes you make, EQ, compression, whatever you decide to do, you're going to immediately change the envelope. You have something that's doing this, you do anything to it, like scoop the mids, all of a sudden the dynamics are fluctuating again. So if you want to get it back there, you kind of have to brick wall it again.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a babe.
More.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half ounce, we prefer a zip. Yeah, pops, I'm the plug.
What I like to do is, if the plugin has gain matching, if I know that the processing I want in coming out, I want it to stay the same level, I'll go ahead and activate gain match just so I can listen to the effect, and then I turn it off. I don't leave it on gain match.
Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half ounce, we prefer a zip. Yeah, pops, I'm the plug, guarantee we smoke good, eat good. So much paper that we don't need wood. Like what's rain to a forest. My flame leave them scorching, just call me Smokey the Bear. But can't say this misfortune, I'm consuming THC. Till hell comes, like tornadoes over the water. Call me the maelstrom in the sky. If you look up, you see where I fell from. You never witnessed a dread with this persona mixed with the marijuana, loud like DJ drama. My title for Mary Jane, call me the Dalai Lama, the ganja god. Used to she learn the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half ounce.
That kind of evens it a little bit. It's this release that I need to get, and I'm going to just measure the snare and make it real simple.
Sick, my mom did not.
The snare is really what's going to run this limiter. Best way to do this. It's about, usually a snare runs about 30 milliseconds. This is a kind of a heavier snare. So I'm gonna do about 40.
My My mom did not used to, she learned the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade.
See, now it's catching the rest of the snare.
My mom did not used to, she learned the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half ounce, we prefer a zip. Yeah, pops, I'm the plug.
So now the snare's not as rough. The beat kind of just gets squished in the middle right here, nice and pocketed. It's done. It's done.
My mom did not used to, she learned the benefits. Treat a bond like a Beyblade, let her rip. Used to scoop a half ounce, we prefer a zip. Yeah, pops, I'm the plug, guarantee we smoke good, eat good. So much paper that we don't need wood, like what's rain to a forest.
Like I said before, the only thing I'm gonna go back and do is take the 2.5K and I'm gonna run the beat through here. It's gonna give it a nice texture, give it some dimensionality because of the circuitry inside of here and the shelf at the same time. That's one of the beautiful things about hardware that you do not get in software. But I'll do that on after this video.